Welcome to Michelin Raceway Road Atlanta for the Radical Cup North America Series. I'm Tom Drewer, and alongside me in the booth, it's fantastic to welcome back Mike Anzaldi after taking a couple of wins at Road America last time out. This time, the helmet's off and the headset's on.
Well worth the break. Well worth the break to hop back in the race car at my home track up there at Road America. But I am very happy indeed to be down with you in your adopted hometown of Atlanta.
Yeah, and well, it's been a hot and humid Atlanta. You can see there 95% humidity. Of course, it's been raining all morning. Qualifying for this round abandoned because you can see the weather is still over the top of us, but that big band, that big blob just on the east side of the circuit now affected all the running this morning. WRL, who Radical is partnering with this weekend, only getting in a short practice with one car in the scenery before everything was shut down for lightning. And we can still see a fair bit of water, particularly that river down through the S's.
Good point. And people might be wondering, well, I thought you guys do run in the rain. The rain isn't the problem. We had lightning. We had thunderstorms here this morning. So any lightning within 8 miles of the track, they shut it down for 30 minutes. And that is the delay that we've been seeing all morning long, Tom.
And it's been absolutely heartbreaking every time there was a flash of lightning, because that, of course, meant the clock reset. So we'll take you through this grid because it is being set by the championship points. And at the back of the grid, it's Dermot Ennis who returns to the championship. He'll start alongside Ryan George, both of those drivers in the Pro 1340 class. On the next row, it's Aaron Ziegler who starts in 20th position. Look at the age gap. Young Nico Balkazoon just turned 14. And Nico has been also quick in the Pro 1340 class.
That's like 30 years right there.
But not as quick as this man, Mike D'Ambrose, who takes the pole because he is the highest point scorer here this weekend. And alongside him will start Peter Folger, who joins the championship for the first time. In 16th on the grid, it's Omar Balkazoon joining his son. Always good to have some father and son racing. And he'll be in the gold class. Look out for him, as we also expect Dave Mason to charge through. And he's been on the podium this year. From 14th on the grid, Dennis Kelly will start alongside the poleman in the gold class, and that's Chris Hoon. You know how to battle Mr. Hoon. He's ultra quick, though, Mike.
Yeah, he's having a really nice season so far. He met his match. I don't want to... He met his match at Road America. When I turned up, we had great races, he and I, but look for him to be at the front of the gold class.
A couple of young guns on the next row of the grid. From 12th, it's Josh Holtz out of the Crown Concept stable from Arizona. And then Sam McDougall, who's been ultra quick on the podium. And young McDougall following in the footsteps of father Richard McDougall, who also hails from my hometown in Adelaide. Valen Venkatesh will start from 10th on the grid. And Valen, another young gun to look out for, driving for Radical Northwest and Cameron Racing. He was on the podium in Sonoma, rather. And Jack Yang, someone that found success at Road America. Jack Yang, ultra quick in Pro 1500. So too is Matt Roma. But then from 7th on the grid, Luke Kendall, who is definitely one of the main championship protagonists. Luke Kendall doing double duty, not only in the Radical Cup North America Series, but also in Europe.
Luke looked fast yesterday in a wet weather practice in the afternoon. Watch out for Luke today.
Starting from the 3rd row on the grid, Jonas Axpo, our pole man in Pro 1500, and Axpo leads the points. And certainly will be hoping to capitalize on the pole position today. Alongside him, from 5th on the grid, it's Judd Miller, who returns to the championship after a long hiatus. Great to see Judd Miller driving for DD Autosports and back representing Texas. It's Steve Jenks from 4th on the grid, and Steve is an old dog with plenty of tricks. He was super quick at Road America. In fact, took out a win Chip Roma was also on the podium for One Motorsports, and Chip will just be looking to have a clean run this weekend after a bit of mechanical mishap has plagued his season so far. And then from the front row of the grid, it's Wayne Williams, our reigning champion, who will line up alongside the man who leads the points in the Platinum class, the cool, calm, collected Robert Rossi, who, again, had a hiatus from the championship and has come back with absolute a vengeance this year, Mike.
He leads the championship at the moment, and talked to him yesterday. He did have some tire problems when he was doing some practice here at Road Atlanta yesterday, earlier in the tests and afternoon in the official free practice session. So let's see if Rossi has made some setup changes, and looks like his tires will be performing better.
So it looks to be just a small hold on the grid. Given we've got that opportunity, let's take you through those points. And as we mentioned, it was the points that did dictate the starting positions today. So here we are with the Platinum class. And as we mentioned, Robert Rossi on 374 points from Wayne Williams, 332. Now, that seems like quite the gap, but given how many points are on offer for a win, it's 40 points plus the starters' points. You can quickly make amends. And in conditions like this, Mike, you've got to stay on the racetrack.
Absolutely. A DNF isn't going to do you any good here. You get your starter points, but you won't get any after that. And so, yeah, that's where that gap will come down.
Chip Roma, of course, in the thick of things too. Scott Wagner, Steve Jenks with some work to do after missing a round. But so far, it's really been down to the guys 1 and 2, Robert Rossi and Wayne Williams. So we'll see how that battle, the reigning champ, will he get eclipsed by Giant Racing's Robert Rossi? That's the question. Well, we'll switch over to Pro 1500, and it's Jonas Axbo, who's really been the star of the show. Hasn't always been the fastest, but has certainly been able to convert every opportunity into points and into success, Mike. And it's really now up to Luke Kendall to find a bit more magic.
I would agree with you on that. I don't think that Kendall is driving like he's 50 points off or so. He looks very, very quick out there. In fact, he's on any given day, he's quicker than Axbo. So that battle is closer than the points indicate.
And look at that, 326 to 321 for Roma and Yang. Yang, we know, is capable of a race win as well. Matt Roma, ultra quick, of course, an SCCA Pro national champion, a runoff champion in the P2 class. So Roma knows how to win. And then look, it's Venkatesh, McDougall, Holtz, Persing. All these guys know how to wheel a Radical SR3 around the racetrack. And I wouldn't be surprised if it is someone like Venkatesh or McDougall who could capitalize on these tricky conditions today to perhaps take a win in that Pro 1500 class.
Sam McDougall didn't get the credit that they deserve from Road America. Picked up the pace in a big way over the weekend, and hopefully that confidence and that increase in form, as it were, will show itself here at Road Atlanta.
Well, you're fourth in the points in the gold class, but Mr. Chris Hoon, our world champion, after winning the gold class at VIR last year, is certainly just a superstar in this class for the over 30 drivers. It's still 1500cc engines powering the SR3 machines in this class. And Hoon, just spectacular. But look, Dennis Kelly in with a crack this year. And certainly the Group A driver will be trying everything to close the gap. Certainly doable.
Yeah, only 62 points off, and we're only halfway through the season. Lots of points on the table.
Dave Mason in there as well. And we'll see what the likes of Balkazoon can do in that class. Of course, another father and son, as we mentioned, Omar Balkazoon, mixing it up with his son. And we'll move on to his son's class, the Pro 1340s. And it's a case of young versus old. Declan Dionorine, the Canadian, not here this weekend. That's going to curb his points haul. Mike D'Ambrose looking to capitalize on that. It will even up the score because, as you can see, Mike was not present at Sonoma. So realistically, Mike D'Ambrose looking to take a lead in the championship. He has been ultra quick. In fact, just dominant whenever he's been on the racetrack this year. and has done some testing here, so we expect him to be quick out of the Team Stradale stable. Evan Wolf will not participate in this one. Of course, he had that huge mishap at Road America, unlucky to be in a massive accident in race 1. Still in the points hunt, but Balkazoon will be carving through as he tries to claw his way up into the top 3.
Yeah, that D'Ambrose, a longtime Radical Cupper. He hangs out at Audubon Country Club and does some club racing over there. Very quick. He's got coaches. He spends a lot of time over the wintertime working on his craft. D'Ambrose, ultra quick in Pro 1340.
Right, so there's still a bit of a hold here on the grid at Road Atlanta. A stunning circuit, obviously with a lot of history. Road Atlanta, the home of Petit Le Mans, certainly been the home of some fantastic Radical Cup action over the years. Last year, the series joined USAC on their weekends. And as you can see, we've got some onboard shots. So that's Aaron Ziegler. So GPX camera systems providing the onboards for the drivers that have the systems. Josh Holtz will be riding on board with him as well.
Yeah, we expect Holtz to be right in the middle of the middle part of that Pro 1500 class. Watch out for Holtz. He's usually involved in some traffic.
And
it's going to be exciting onboards.
It will be, and it will be interesting to see what the conditions truly are like. This is an absolute roller coaster of a race circuit. A fantastic rhythm around here, Mike, in the dry. And, around about 130 mile an hour through turn 1. Amazingly, turn 3, which you think is probably a second gear corner the first time you lob through it, is like 4th gear and just bouncing over that inside curb. The car sort of rotates a little bit. It lands next to the left-hand curb for that very effectively tight left-hander. And then, of course, you set yourself up for the downhill into those S's, a fantastic section that we can see a big river running across one of those apexes, and that will be tricky first time through. Then, of course, you've almost got to really make sure that you turn the car through those corners, set yourself up for this turn 5. Use all the exit curb, maybe not today. You can see the marks heading into that outside wall, and then it's down into the banked turn 6. And an amazing amount of camber on that corner, a little speed reduction just like turn 1, and then you actually return to throttle just for a moment to kind of maintain that road speed before you jump on the binders big time for turn 7. Hopefully get on the gas just in the perfect moment. It's so easy to get on a little bit too early and then carry a bit too much speed to the exit of that corner, run out of track. Have a bit of a breather, look at the gauges on the back straightaway, which has a couple of kinks in it, and build yourself up mentally for that massive braking zone down into turn 10. You can see it's downhill.
Look at the river there coming.
A big river into 10A. And the exit of 10A is really, as a driver, where you set yourself up for the next lap. It all starts in the exit of 10A into 10B, because you carry that momentum over the crest, an 11 down through turn 12 and through the front straightaway. Well, the cars are on circuit behind the pace car. Again, it is Robert Rossi who will share the front row of the grid thanks to championship points with Wayne Williams. Chip Romer from the second row of the grid with Steve Jenks. Judd Miller returns to the championship. I'm excited to see the Platinum class cars at the front of the field head into turn 1. Of course, they might get swallowed up by the Pro 1500s. The SR3s have a better balance than the Platinum class cars, a lighter engine, and Josh Holtz, already drama for the Crown Concepts driver, stranded at the exit of the pit lane.
All right, so we'll watch Holtz for the moment. I think the reason you're so excited about those SR10s, for those that are new to Radical, those things have twice the horsepower as the rest of the field. And so that's why on the same tires and ultimately the same chassis with twice the horsepower, that will be an interesting class to watch in wet weather conditions.
Yeah, 430 brake horsepower, 380 foot-pounds of torque. Jim Booth, who's a longtime Radical racer, was one of the first, in fact, the first driver to get an SR10 in the US, and immediately coined the phrase the torque monster. and certainly trying to get the pedal down, put all that power to a slippery ground here at Road Atlanta will be difficult today. You've got to keep the turbo spooled up. You can't afford get off the gas once you've started applying it. So smooth throttle application will be the key at the pointy end of the field. Of course, for the 1500 drivers, let's talk about that, Mike. You can actually get on the gas quite abruptly, can't you? You can apply the throttle quite aggressively.
Yeah, with these Suzuki Hayabusas, the 5th gen motor that's in the XXR, it doesn't have enough power to really get these cars too out of shape. I'm talking about the 1340s and the 1500s. The 1500's a little bit more. It's got a little bit more power, about 10% more power than the 1340s in that same block. But it doesn't really upset the car quite as much as the Platinum cars do when you get on the throttle.
Now, usually, as drivers become more accustomed to these machines, you start raising the rake or the rear ride height. You start making the car rotate a little bit quicker. Obviously, on a day like today, perhaps you don't want that. But what would you be doing, Mike, if you were behind the wheel? How would you be advising the team that you want the car set up for these difficult conditions?
Well, first, there'd probably be a little bit of prayer. And then after that, I do, like you said, like a really solid back end of the car. So maybe a little bit lower in the back, probably most of the downforce without taking away too much or without adding too much drag. Because, of course, Road Atlanta, it's going to dry up at some point. It's a very fast track, and a faster car that you have between turn 7 and 10, the better. But that puts you at odds for the first sector. So it really is a big-time compromise situation here, Tom, where you try to figure out where you're going to be comfortable. You have to have a comfortable car to race, but you also need a slick and trimmed-out car here at Road Atlanta.
Yeah, long back straightaway, as you mentioned. Yeah, it is a compromise, isn't it? Because you want the downforce through turn 1, through the final corner, through a turn like turn 6, where you're approaching that pretty rapidly. But again, how much of a trade-off down the back straight with the top mile an hour?
And I would tell you, last year, we were here at the Radical Cup. I was behind the wheel in my car, and we had a very slick car. We had a very fast car. We were probably doing 146 miles an hour into turn 10, but I was compromised through the first sector. Nobody could pass me in the third sector, but I was definitely compromised in the first sector. And so it's, it's just kind of how a race weekend goes. You analyze the conditions, you work with your car, you work with your team. The team always wants the car to have less drag. They're always trying to put the wing and the back end of the car down as low as it can go. And so, as a driver, you want more downforce.
So they're just trying to extract Josh Holtz's car, in fact, pulling it back into the pit lane. So extracting that, I don't know whether we're going to get, it's going to be tight.
No, we've gone full course yellow. So the starting stand does have the green flag in his hand, but he also has a yellow. And so
we are being told the cars are going to start packing up and pairing up. The lights are still on the safety car, but I think they're going to go off momentarily. They are off.
Oh, great.
And so we will get a side-by-side start to commence race 1 here at Road Atlanta. So
it does look like Holtz is clear of the racetrack, so that's good.
The nerves are going to be rising in these race cars. Everyone's going to be getting a little bit tense. How well can you feel the tarmac underneath, the Hankook rubber, everyone on wet weather tires? You can see the rain lights are on, and the revs will rise momentarily as we go side by side to a green start. Of course, Road America, we saw a big start line incident, or a restart incident rather. Hopefully these guys will come away unscathed as they head down into turn 1. The pack looks good, side by side. Robert Rossi has gone early, and we're already single file into turn 1 and down the front straight. Probably a good thing as we get this one underway.
A little bit of a checkup from Judd Miller in an SR10. He was not super happy heading down that hill, so he had a couple of cars overtake him. Luke Kendall looks like he's on the outside of turn 1 trying to make some moves.
So we'll see if Kendall can get past his rival, Jonas Axpo, as we're also riding on board there. And side-by-side action as they head down through the S's for the first time. very, very tight. You can see the river kicking up plenty of spray as these drivers negotiate things. Sam McDougall going wide there just before turn 5. So far, so good for the Radical Cup on lap 1.
Kendall up to P3 overall at the moment, it looks like.
Kendall flying, so perhaps having driven at Sonoma, he was ultra quick in the wet. I'm sure he's experienced a bit more wet weather driving in Europe as well this year.
It's a quick right-hander there at turn 6. Everybody's trying to get organized into turn 7 there, and that's a super important braking
Look
point.
at Robert Rossi extending his lead over Wayne Williams. Fantastic stuff for Rossi on this opening tour.
Williams passed Kendall and is now back into P3 overall, and now P2.
So Wayne Williams, what can he do? Can he start hunting down Robert Rossi, who just looks absolutely stunning around this racetrack? He's got plenty more pace, more confidence in these conditions.
Expo sits there. Expo sits there in P3 overall with Kendall hot on his tail. But it looks like Expo trying to make a move up toward turn 3. Let's see how that one fares out. So far, so good. Inside of Williams, Expo through.
So Expo in the lead of Pro 1500. Luke Kendall with a out-of-class car between him and his rival, and you can see how much Wayne Williams is holding up.
It's that first
Luke
sector.
Kendall, yeah.
Yeah, the
Disaster.
SR3 is better through the first sector at the moment than the SR10.
Disaster for Kendall. And it's Steve Jenks, who Steve Jenks is also relatively calm in this race, not pushing too hard as he just tries to find his feet in that Platinum class car. But at the moment, it's the Pro 1500 starting to carve their way through, up through the field, as they've just got more confidence in a slightly better balanced car, even though they've got less power.
Judd Miller on the outside there. You see him in that SR10 trying to make some moves there. That's Jenks also coming up as we wait for the field to come down into 10. And here comes Rossi.
So riding on board with Sam McDougall into 10. Late on the brakes and has to dive to the inside. Capitalizes on that braking to get past Steve Jenks into 10A. Now we'll see if he can maintain that position. Sam McDougall now coming through the final corner with the 21 of Jack Yang just behind. And it looks to me like Chip Romer is going to be Sam McDougall's next victim. Sam looking for a pass on the inside into turn 3. That's pretty dicey stuff there.
So frustrating through the first sector to be behind an SR10 if you're in a pretty quick.
Sam's done it, though.
He's done it. He's gotten by.
Yeah, so look at that. So now Jack Yang has 2 Platinum class cars between himself and Sam McDougall. So again, getting held up through the S's. And this is going to play a critical role in this motor race, I think, the interclass battles and the intra-class battles, because the Platinum class cars are really, really testing the patience of the Pro 1500 drivers.
Yeah, it looks like Matt Romer is starting to feel comfortable in his 1500. Dougal, Chip Romer, and there's Jenks.
So gold class, still Chris Hoon has capitalized on that pole position, still leads from Dennis Kelly. David Mason's in the thick of things too. Mike Dambrose has also capitalized on his pole in Pro 1340 and sits ahead of teammate Aaron Ziegler with Nico Balkazoon in third. Side-by-side action down the straightaway. And again, we ride on board with Sam McDougall, who's now been repassed by Chip Romer, who's trying to get a hurry on Sam a little bit quicker mid-corner as they head down into turn 1. Again, you'll see the Pro 1500 of Sam McDougall close in on the gearbox, the Hewland gearbox of that SR10 machine of Chip Romer. Can Romer now carry a bit more speed through the track?
Bit of a blind right-hander up there. 3. Look at McDougall go around the outside of Romer. What?
Unbelievable stuff from Sam
Really?
McDougall. And a little bit of a correction as Sam just caught a bit of water, standing water on the racetrack. But certainly very, very brave stuff from the young gun from California.
Action further back. That's Jenks and Hoon, I believe, that are getting involved. Venkatesh back there as well.
So you can see how much that SR3 extends the gap. But of course, Chip Romer's going to come back on the lower powered car as they head down this back straightaway. And Chip Romer almost under some pressure now from Jack Yang.
Yeah, right now Yang has got a Romer and Yank sandwich there with SR10s.
And Yang, Romer, McDougall all have to be very, very careful. They have to try and play with each other rather nicely because they don't want to hold each other up. Of course, the more they jostle for position, the front runners ahead of them will start stretching their lead. And again, Sam McDougall in front as they cross the finish line.
So Matt Romer is currently sitting P3. He and Sam McDougall will be battling for that last position on the podium at the moment. Currently, Romer in the catbird seat there. Slow car into turn 1. We'll kind of pay attention to that one further back into the field.
So Jack Yang has seen that pass, that fantastic pass that Sam McDougall did on Chip Romer, and Jack Yang has just dispatched Chip Romer in exactly the same way. Great multi-class racing as a big moment for Jack Yang on the exit curb of turn 5. You don't want to use that curb in these conditions. And you can see there some more action between Matt Romer, Judd Miller.
Back in the 1340 class, D'Ambrose still leads there. Aaron Ziegler, P2 in 1340, and Nico Balkasoon is your third step on the podium at this moment.
So this is the view from Aaron Ziegler. As we ride on board down into turn 6, you can see the spray still getting kicked up. The track is starting to dry. Those dry patches just starting to make their way through that very wet concrete. As he negotiates turn 6, quite a tight line into 7. That is definitely going to affect his exit, but there is that slow car, dispatches that one. And Ziegler on his way down.
And that is a slow-moving car. Is that?
Yeah.
Is that Hoon? No. We'll get back to you on that one.
But Ziegler, the reason he was defending on the inside's got a car right behind him. So Aaron Ziegler.
Yeah, he's got Nico Balkasoon behind him. He wants to protect his P2.
Absolutely. And
Ziegler.
And young Nico Balkasoon, with the naivety of young age, probably has plenty of courage behind the wheel of his Radical. Nico just turned 14.
And I'll tell you what, I think that pass has been made. Looks like Ziegler down to P3 in class, Balkasoon up to P2. Watch out for Dermot Ennis. Ennis back into the championship here at Road Atlanta. He sits right behind those. He would love a P3 in 1340.
So riding aboard again with Aaron Ziegler, you can see young Nico Balkasoon just ahead as they come around turn 4 and set themselves up for these high-speed S's, roller coaster section of the racetrack.
And I'll tell you, Tom, it is so we got a car into the pits. That's going to be a Venkatesh. Heads back into the pits. That was the car coming out of turn 7. That was slow. We told you we'd get back on that. Valen Venkatesh into the pits.
The other person that's moving and shaking at the moment is Wayne Williams in the 57. Wayne Williams starting to make a move. He's got the fastest lap of the race. Of course, those honours were going to Robert Rossi. The lap times in this race will set the grid for the next one. And Robert Rossi, even though he's in the lead, has now been matched in terms of pace by Wayne Williams. Jonas Axpo sits third on the racetrack outright. He is the leader in the Pro 1500 class. And again, some more side-by-side action further down in the pack.
We're only 13 minutes in, and the Platinum car of Rossi is very, very close to lapping his first car. So that is early times to see lapped traffic in a Radical Cup race.
Josh Holtz has been able to restart in this motor race, so he is lapping 2 laps behind.
And Ennis is looking down the barrel of, it looks like Ziegler into turn 1. A nice little matchup going on between Dermot Ennis and Aaron Ziegler in 1340.
So there we are, focusing on that battle now as they head up to turn 3. Dermot Ennis.
There it is, yeah. Ennis all over the back at turn 3 as we go to the drone shot. Lovely shot here.
And it looks like it looks like Ennis just lost a bit of pace versus Ziegler, who had a bit more confidence at the start of the S's. Now Dennis seems to be clawing his way back onto the gearbox. So drivers feeling their way around this circuit still, Mike.
Yeah, for sure. Trying to understand where the grip is. And every time cars head through one, it looks like a slightly different line, just trying to search out, see where the drive pavement is.
So Ziegler, again, stretching a little bit of a gap over Dermot Ennis, who's been passed. Again, that is for class position. We can see there Josh Holtz ahead. Yep. So he is still circulating.
And then right behind Ennis, you've got
the leaders. And the leaders coming through. So they're lapping already. Robert Rossi. We just saw Wayne Williams passing. There's Jonas Axpo, the leader in Pro 1500.
And that's Luke Kendall right behind him. Yeah, what a race there.
So there we go. Robert Rossi in that blue and black giant racing machine. Wayne Williams using a slightly wider line in that Dayglow SR10. Then it's the Tiger Beetle car, followed by Luke Kendall. Luke Kendall, the young gun from this neck of the woods, in fact, started racing just down Highway 53 at Atlanta Motorsports Park. Did the racing school, the Primal Racing School in the SR1s. Started cutting his teeth in the club championship there in the SR3s. Quickly elevated himself up to Radical Cup competition and has, again, started racing on both sides of the Atlantic in Radical Cup Europe, has found success and the podium over there as well.
Watching a little bit further back at Sam McDougall and Jack Yang. Yang is trying to trim his lap time and make his way through lap traffic as well, and just try to bring it to his competitor ahead, Sam McDougall. Impressive over the last couple.
So this could be a chance now, and actually someone's run wide. Is it Wayne Williams?
Is it Axpo?
Or yeah, Wayne Williams goes past. It's not him, it's Ziegler.
It's Ziegler.
And he was just getting lapped by Robert Rossi. I wondered whether Wayne Williams would get a chance to capitalize on this as the drivers are making their way through the back markers. Of course, everyone having their own motor race. Ziegler getting distracted by the leaders in the Platinum class coming through.
Derm Ennis will be excited about that little development. Not certainly for the fact that his competitor went off, but that it's a little easier. Wayne Williams is all over the back of lap traffic as he comes down the hill, turn 12 on the front straight.
Yeah, and Williams will size up to just dispatch another one into turn 1. Further back, you can see Jonas Axpo makes a nice move around the back markers. And Axpo now, will he know that Luke Kendall is not far away? We could just see Kendall trying to clear the back markers as well. Kendall now with only one car between himself and the leader in Pro 1500. Kendall's going to try and go around the outside. Does he make it stick? No. I think Kendall will have to have a breather. Yeah, check up behind the car in front as Axpo extends his lead over second place.
That is such a tough one for Kendall. Oh, I caught the traffic at the wrong spot.
But you've got to be smart, don't you? Because it's not just about track position in this race. You've got to think about your championship points. Survival is the aim of the game in this one. To finish first you must finish, and Luke Kendall just has to be calm. You can now see the gearbox of the Tiger Beetle car. Luke Kendall does clear the car in front, and Kendall now with a clear shot of the 32 of Jonas Axpo. I dare say Kendall has generally been slightly more comfortable in these conditions. We sort of saw that at Sonoma. I think Kendall was unlucky in a couple of those races with mechanicals and a few other mishaps not to perhaps pick up a win in Sonoma. In the end, it was Axpo who took away so many points there.
Yeah, and frankly, Kendall looked fast yesterday visually. Now I know looking at lap times, you can tell what people are doing. Literally looking out the window, he looked faster than the rest of the people in the field heading through turn one. So, Kendall's pretty comfortable.
So, Mike, would you rather be the rabbit or do you want to be the fox? Do you want to be chasing or do you want to be out in front?
Right. I prefer to be the fox in a rain situation. I don't want to be the lead car trying to figure out where and when the grip is at its peak. I'd rather follow somebody.
And I think that's the challenge, isn't it, with Jonas Axpo? But if you start getting your mirrors full of your competitor, that's when you've really got to knuckle down mentally, try and block that out. Just focus forward, focus on the corner ahead. Make sure that you're hitting your marks, not making mistakes, and just extract the best personal performance. You can't do anything about your competitor. As Kendall finds a bit of water, so is he trying to cool down the Hankook rubber?
Yeah, exactly. It's a full race. It's not going to be any. This is a sprint, so it's a 40-minute sprint on these wet weather tires, and it is drying. We can see that on the main straight. We can see that around the circuit. So how long will these wet weather tires last?
So you can see different lines down that back straightaway. Drivers electing, some of them, to pick up a bit more water as we have a fantastic shot of Robert Rossi hanging it up through turn one. Wayne Williams too. There is your leader, Jonas Axpo, as Wayne Williams now passes Josh Holtz into turn one. Axpo with definitely a fuller mirror of the Valor Racing car as Josh Holtz works hard at the steering wheel into turn three. How much curve does Josh use? A little bit. The car rotates and sits next to that left-hander corner. You can see here a wide turn in. And Wayne Williams has used a bit of track there. Wayne Williams has found plenty of water as they've head down through the S's. And look at
and he goes
Wayne
around.
Williams turns. So that happened right at the top of the hill. And he was sort of offline for the rest of the S's. Approached turn 5 in an awkward manner and found the inside of the racetrack in a spin.
That will definitely be in the ear of Judd Miller. It will be in the ear of Steve Jenks that one of their competitors just went wide and off.
So Robert Rossi off the hook a little bit. Wayne Williams there comes through, so he has continued, but he's lost a lot of time. It's Jonas Axpo who now sits second overall with Luke Kendall third. Wayne Williams, there he is, fourth, so managed to spin and continue.
We'll see just how bad it's turned out.
Chris Hoon still leading the gold class. Dennis Kelly sits second. Dave Mason behind him.
And here comes Williams down through 12. He'll get to cross the line here, and we'll give you an idea. He's 16 seconds down now with that spin.
So what's happening in Pro 1500? The gap has closed again, has it?
Some developments down in 1340. Sorry to interrupt you there, Tom. And it looks like Ennis is either stopped or out somewhere on the racetrack, somewhere possibly in the first sector. We don't see a yellow flag at the moment. We'll be looking for
Sam McDougall with some pressure. And that looks like Jack Yang to me, having a look.
Great race between those two so far today.
Great shots of the exit of turn 3. You can see the elevation change as Sam McDougall comes through with Jack Yang focused in. Sam Yang under pressure on a massive amount of work on the tiller for Sam McDougall. The car, he's really fighting that hard. You can see again on the exit, big opposite lock moment. Didn't do what Wayne Williams did and rotate it to the inside, but certainly got the car unsettled. Now through this high-speed turn 6. On the binders again. You've got to hit your marks. Don't overshoot turn 7. Get maximum attack on the exit. and then have a slight breather, but you can see that Jack Yang is ever so close. And now Jack
He's
Yang
very
popping
close.
out, being
Oh.
full in the mirrors. Sam McDougall has to absorb the pressure. How late can you break in these conditions? Will Jack Yang dive to the inside? Sam slightly mid-track, just protecting the line. A little bit of curb to the inside. Now it's 10B. Ultra critical over the hill, flat out over the crest. The car gets a little bit light. It settles next to the left-hand curb, the entry curb to this final corner, and then traffic to deal with down the front straightaway. Has a quick look in the mirrors. McDougall into turn one, down through the dip. The car unloads again to the outside of the corner, and fantastic stuff as we rode on board there, and great shots from the drone as well.
And that bit of traffic that he was passing into one was Derm Ennis, and so he is back underway. At least we're not totally sure if he stopped or if that was just a timing.
Oh, and it got close. So it's Jack Yang now who's having to contend with the traffic. That's given McDougall a bit of a reprieve. So that storyline continues in this one.
That super fast turn, that right-hander at 6. Oh my goodness, is that one stressful in the rain as you get yourself set up to 7. And it looks like McDougall has gapped Yang for the moment.
Yeah, and I can just tell you as they cross the line that Jonas Expo has managed to stretch out a little bit of a gap again on Luke Kendall. That gap has kind of stabilized for Expo, so he'll be breathing a small slight moment of relief there. And Wayne Williams recovering, but still sits 4th overall. So through the final corner, that was Matt Roma in the Michelob Ultra car.
And you got Judd Miller, and then that battle between McDougall and Yang right behind.
Yeah, and look at that. McDougall now with a huge gap. So just be able to focus a little bit more on the job at hand. And as you can see, the track continuing to dry. The Hankook rubber is pretty good, it must be said. The wet tyres they don't really churn up too much, do they? I mean, they'll walk around a little bit on the surface of the racetrack as the track dries out, but they don't sort of tend to come apart or anything like that.
They kind of turn into intermediates, don't they, after a little while?
Of race 1 here at Road Atlanta. Things just calming down a little bit.
I love McDougall bringing it straight up to the SR10 of Judd Miller in front of him.
Yeah, McDougall.
Oh, and a spin. This is a big spin. Williams.
A massive accident in turn.
The
final turn. There's a wheel off and rolling down the circuit. Wayne Williams has had a massive accident. And coming through the final corner, I can tell you that started relatively early. There is a tyre that's luckily found its way to the side of the racetrack again. The yellow flag is out. No doubt this is going to bring out a full course caution. And the safety car has been stood up. But Wayne Williams leaving all sorts of debris over the racetrack. And I think he's okay. It was the right rear corner caught the brunt of that one. Williams' car still on the exit of turn 12 as the safety crew is immediately on the scene.
Wayne hit really hard, and he's got car parts scattered from before the start-finish straight, or the start-finish tower, and 30 yards down. So
well, that is absolute disaster for the One Motorsports driver. Was still sitting in 2nd place when he had the mishap.
Yeah, so again, to recap, he had a quick spin up at turn 5. He was battling within shooting distance of the leader, Rossi. Had a quick spin at 5. Dropped back about 50 seconds, still in P2, but then has had a massive spin, heading down the hill at turn 12.
You can see it's unbelievable. There's a radiator and side pod that's been ripped out of that SR10 machine. That's sitting in the grass on the side of the racetrack. There's a wheel that's further down the front straightaway.
Yeah, he's got a rear wheel with a axle attached to it, 50 yards up the road off to the left. We are full course yellow. We didn't say that.
Yeah, the safety car is out on circuit. And would you believe the man that's come back into the championship, Judd Miller for DD Autosports, in second place now.
P2.
In the Platinum class.
Oof.
Steve Jenks finding himself in it with a possible podium with 10 minutes remaining.
Tom, it's happened 100 times before. Sometimes in Radical Cup, just keeping the thing on the track and letting the race come to you, however that may look, is the strategy sometimes. Today might be one of those days. Wayne forcing the issue, it seems, a little bit, a couple of different times on track, and now he's paid a big price.
Yeah, so emergency services continuing just to come down and to tend to Wayne Williams. Ambulance is on site. Haven't unfortunately we're blocked, but
I've got Wayne walking.
yeah, so Wayne is A-OK. In fact, the safety team's already been with him for a number of minutes, and Wayne just walking towards the back of the ambulance, already being tended to by the medical crews here, but on his own, on his feet, and you can see there that side pod being ripped out. So just under 10 minutes remain. Robert Rossi leads the pack. Jonas Axpo does not sit second in the queue. There is the 28, and that is David Mason, who sits second in the queue behind the safety car. Wayne Williams just picking out the earbud from his ear, probably pondering what went wrong through turn 12.
That's going to be a big deal, Tom. That's going to be a big deal for a Williams championship. It does not look like that race car is going to participate in race number 2 this afternoon. I don't know if he's got a backup car or not, Wayne, but this is a situation as far as this entire body of work of a championship goes.
Well, that's right. You talk about a championship. I mean, survival. It's like Luke Kendall at the moment. He's sitting behind his championship rival, but crucially collecting a huge haul of points. So even if he doesn't pass Jonas Axpo and close that points gap, he hasn't lost anything further. He's doing the best job possible. Now
this is an interesting one, Tom, and don't hold me to this, but we're kind of watching the cars circulate behind the safety car. We've had these discussions whether or not Radical would allow lapped cars to unlap themselves under a safety car situation.
And we've now got Chip Roma, who's slow on the front straightaway. Chip refiring, though.
And so are we saying that he spun? Did Mason spin? He's pointed by. It looks like, so the 28 car Mason, who sits in the pro class, was pointed by the safety car. So that is a procedure that we haven't seen that often in Radical Cup. We did talk about it during some drivers' meetings, and maybe they will institute that.
Yeah, he was in the gold class, wasn't he? So, yeah. And that might also just be to do with where the safety car came out. Sure. But yeah, I mean,
you don't want him leading the field when they start back off. You don't want Mason to have to lead Rossi to a green flag.
Yeah, so look at the damage on the 57 machine. It's a big impact again, but the Radical surviving well around the driver's safety cell.
Yeah, you can see the back wing folded. The right rear took particular damage.
That FIA rated chassis doing its job. The front crash box not getting affected. Hopefully the Hewland gearbox sticking out the back didn't take too much of a clatter. But Wayne Williams jumping out of that machine. These cars featuring a carbon, very high-sided seat with wraparound headrest.
And so you see Mason in some of our shots coming down all by himself down the main straight. And so he has, again, been sent through past the safety car, and he will rejoin the field toward the back.
But the cleanup relatively quick here at Road Atlanta. The crew's doing a good job. Over 6 minutes remain. I think we're going to go green again.
I think so too.
And so what goes through the mind of the likes of Luke Kendall, Jonas Axpo? Robert Rossi's got a few 1500s between himself and Judd Miller. The track continues to dry. That could have caught out Wayne Williams there as he was trying to find more grip, perhaps use a little bit more track. You can actually see the outside of the final corner still looks rather slick, whereas the inside isn't. And the white, so it looks like
they've done a top job.
But the safety car will do one more tour, so we were just a bit unlucky.
Yeah, right. Just a few more seconds, but nevertheless, good races will commence when we go green next time by. And some of those races include Sam McDougall and Matt Romer. They've got Judd Miller between the two. That's for the last podium spot in Pro 1500. You got Chris Hoon and Dennis Kelly right next to each other looking for the win in gold. And it looks like D'Ambrose is going to be okay. He's got a couple of cars in the form of Folger and Balcasoon between he and Nico Balcasoon, who sits P2.
And I was just looking, Dennis Kelly does have an out-of-class car between himself. It must be a back marker, not showing in the order because they're behind the safety car. But so Dennis Kelly with some work to do. But as you say, could this be a day to capitalize on the conditions and perhaps get one over on Chris Hoon? Kelly, of course, also had a mishap at Road America. So this would be a fairy tale story to end up on the podium or perhaps go for a win in race one here at Road Atlanta.
It's kind of how racing goes, doesn't it? You have big ups and big downs, and it's a roller coaster for sure.
It is. I think that's what makes the victories, the success taste so much sweeter is the fact that it's got to be the toughest sport. I mean, Wayne Williams is having that moment today. Of course, it was one of his rivals at Road America, Chip Romer, being unlucky with some mechanicals, etc. You know, this sport is just so cruel at the best of times. But when you taste the champagne on the podium and celebrate with the team when it all goes right, it's got to be one of the biggest thrills you can get in your lifetime. It's certainly a drug.
Rossi leads this field now, and he's got the entire 1500 podium behind him and between he and Judd Miller. So I'm feeling pretty good if I'm Rossi. I don't think Judd Miller at this moment of the day is ready to take this fight to Rossi, but who knows? We'll see that in the next couple of minutes.
I'm wondering, though, whether Steve Jenks might feel like he's capable of taking the fight to Judd Miller. Jenks, of course, won at Road America, so Jenks is usually super quick. Obviously has taken it easy in this race so far today, just feeling it out.
And I think his moment will be straight away at green flag because he needs to get around the two cars, Yang and McDougall. That's going to be a really tight fight.
So Rossi has backed up the pack. The safety car lights are off. The cars are lying astern. Of course, a single file restart, and Robert Rossi will be slow up to the top of the crest of the hill before he punches on. That was certainly the notes from the race director, Charlie Kimball, former IndyCar superstar, commanding this one up in race control. And Robert Rossi has popped already. The green flag flies. They are allowed to race down the hill. And look at this. Steve Jenks right behind the 64 of Judd Miller. This is for position P2 in class, and Jenks is on the inside as they head down towards turn one. Fantastic stuff. Steve Jenks through. So Jenks capitalizing, as you mentioned, straight away with the higher horsepower SR10s, passing the out-of-class cars, and indeed his rival in class, Judd Miller, moves up to second position.
Jenks through.
Side by side. Chen, as they head down into the S's, you can see the spray. There's still plenty of water on that part of the circuit.
A lot of position changes there. A lot of fights for position.
Somehow everyone got through, though. I was certain that there was going to be a spin in the middle of that. Now they negotiate. Turn 6 in anger for the first time after that. full course caution period. A little bit of curb used by Josh Holtz, but everyone looking rather tidy. There's a little bit of to and fro, though, further back as they exit turn 7. And a few drivers, that's Judd Miller now trying to come back at Steve Jenks. Where is Steve Jenks? There he is.
Right there.
So he's ahead of Judd Miller by at least a quarter of a straightaway.
Miller's going to get in front of the McDougall-Yang situation. 1 lap to go. White flag out. Rossi crosses the line now.
And there is the 32, still ahead in the Pro 1500 class. So for those of you that are Jonas Axpo fans, Luke Kendall fans, Kendall still with some work to do. 1 more lap. Can he do it?
Kendall's going to need an Axpo problem. He's going to need a mistake.
We just saw Mike D'Ambrose, the leader in Pro 1340, come through across the line as well. Or Kendall having a little bit of a moment. Turn 4 there, the front of the car just using a bit more track than he would like.
You also got Ziegler, George, and Ennis all battling for the final podium position in 1340.
And the leader in Pro 1340 comes through the shot. The rainbow-coloured car of Mike D'Ambrose, again, a superstar in that class.
There's Ziegler. He sits 3 right now. He's trying to bring home a podium.
So Ziegler with a mouthful of spray as the car in front uses plenty of curb. Look at Ziegler with a fantastic exit out of turn 5. They go side by side down into turn 6. Can Ziegler shoot around the outside? He does. Fantastic stuff from Aaron Ziegler and Team Stradale.
I think he just collected Omar Balkasoon, and he's going to go on and try to collect that 3rd step of the podium. Meanwhile, Rossi down turn 12.
So here he comes to the line. Robert Rossi taking the win in the Platinum class. Wow. And it's the Tiger Beetle car of Jonas Axpo for Radical Northwest, who takes the win in Pro 1500.
And Steve Jenks and Romer
home in 2nd.
Sam McDougall holds off Yang.
So Sam McDougall home 4th. It was Matt Romer 3rd in Pro 1500. Chris Hoon's taken the win.
Yeah, he's held off Kelly.
Fantastic stuff. Another win for our world champ. And Mike D'Ambrose, I think, has crossed the line.
Yep.
No, perhaps not yet.
Yeah, well, he has, and I think that.
Oh yes, he has. So, yep, absolutely.
It's showing a 1 lap up, but after safety car, things get jumbled. Wow, what a race! What a race! Lots of drama.
Absolutely. So again, the winner, Robert Rossi in the Platinum class. Jonas Axpo adding another 1st place trophy to his cabinet. That's going to start to get full. Luke Kendall just has to sit in 2nd once again. We'll see what Luke can do in front of his hometown crowd later on this afternoon. Thank God we got through that one. The rain receded and the lightning too, and it's Robert Rossi who's taken the win in the Platinum class from Steve Jenks, who came home with a late race pass on Judd Miller after the restart. Chip Romer rounds out 4th place, and Wayne Williams classified in 5th. Then in Pro 1340, it's Mike D'Ambrose who's taken the win 3 times. Younger than Mike D'Ambrose is 2nd place. Nico Balkasoon, would you believe? Aaron Ziegler with a fantastic 3rd place there. Ryan George, Dermot Ennis rounding out the top 5. In Pro 1500, we
Ziegler,
mentioned...
my favorite performance in the 1340 class. Great on him.
Absolutely. We mentioned Matt Romer in 3rd behind Axpo and Kendall. Sam McDougall capitalizing on the tricky conditions, getting one over on Jack Yang.
Let me say a quick word about Matt Romer. Last time he was at Road Atlanta, he crashed. This is his very last moment at Road Atlanta. Was the last race of the Radical Cup last season. He had a crash in the last race on the last lap. This is a nice podium for him for his return to Road Atlanta.
Yeah, and Josh Holtz, salvaging 6th place. He did complete a number of laps after being back in the pit lane for 3 laps of that one, but crucially got a time on the board. Of course, it's the lap times that are now going to set the race for the next one. In the gold class, Chris Hoon from Dennis Kelly, David Mason, Pete Folger, a solid job on his debut in the championship, 4th place, and Omar Balkazoon rounding out the top 5. Wow, well, it got exciting.
How do you beat that?
Well, hopefully with a bit more dry weather here at Road Atlanta. The Radical Cup North America Series will be back later on this afternoon. Mike Anzaldi, it's a pleasure as always as Robert Rossi starts to celebrate. You can see there the Jonas Expo 2. We'll be back later on this afternoon for race 2. Of course, tomorrow morning it's race 3 here from Road Atlanta, and hopefully we'll see you then with all the action.
So on.